What's good, everybody? It's the Clown with Cap Show. NFL Week 8. Let's first start off with the Thursday Night Football game. I picked the Ravens over Tampa Bay in a close one. Why did I pick the Ravens? Simply because of Lamar Jackson, their younger team, and really Tampa Bay is looking terrible right now. I'm not going to blame the GOAT, Tom Brady, with everything. I think it's really the whole team as a whole, from defense to offense and special teams. I think they're just flat right now, and we saw that. We saw a bunch of false start penalties from Tampa, just a lot of out of sync things that Tampa Bay's doing right now, and really they're 3-5 right now, which is crazy to think that the GOAT Tom Brady is like this. Now, let's say Tampa Bay doesn't make the playoffs this year. I will bet a lot of money that Tom Brady will be back next year in 2023. I really believe that, because I just think 7-time Super Bowl winning champion quarterback, and to go out like this to not make the playoffs this year, I think Tom Brady 100%, what's going on outside of the NFL, in his personal life, I do think Tom Brady will be back in 2023 if they miss the playoffs. Now, if they make the playoffs, that's a different story. We can get to that. But, Tom Brady, really, a quiet game, even though he had 325 yards passing and 1 touchdown. Mike Evans, 123 yards receiving. He had that one big catch. But, for Lamar, 238 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. And the Ravens defense stepped up when they needed to, and they got the win on the road. This was huge. And we saw Tucker miss a field goal, which is kind of not rare to see, right? We never see Tucker miss a field goal. He's on my fantasy squad, even though I think he put up like 8 or 9 points. But, shout out to the Ravens. This was a huge win on the road, and we've seen the Ravens this year give up games in the fourth quarter. This was a game that they needed to win, and they got it done. Shout out to Coach Harbaugh and the Ravens. What a win over Tampa Bay. And like I said, for Tampa, the A's, back to the X's and O's. And then we got the Washington Commanders versus the Indianapolis Colts. My Colts are 3-point favorites. Now, this could be a suck bet. Yes, we do have Matt Ryan getting benched. Jonathan Taylor's in the lineup. 386 yards passing and 386 yards rushing and 1 touchdown. I think the Colts, they need to spread it out, and Jonathan Taylor needs to have a big game here. Now, I could definitely see the Colts losing this game. And it starts with Taylor Heinicke, the quarterback for Washington Commanders. 2 touchdowns, 1 pick last week against Green Bay. They got the win. That's all that matters. Terry McLaurin, 2 touchdowns this season. I expect Washington to come out and really have a good game. But I just think for the Colts right now, with the young quarterback coming in from Texas, I just think, man, I don't know. Me being from Indiana, the state, and around this area, it's just like, man, like, what's next for the Indianapolis Colts? What's the next excuse? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is the next narrative? Oh, the Colts, we should do this and that. No, at the end of the day, the Colts have been messing up for the past decade, dude. Ever since they released Peyton Manning, the reality is the Colts have been drafting a bunch of nobodies, really. I mean, Andrew Luck, we could say, yes, he had potential. A lot of people have potential. A lot of people have ability. But, at the end of the day, in my book, Andrew Luck was a bust. Matt Ryan is a bust. I mean, the list goes on and on, all the quarterbacks we had after Peyton, and it just doesn't add up. So I think the Indianapolis Colts, they need to hit the restart button, dude. I think they need to hit the reset button and just say, hey, we need to start over and stop wasting talent like Jonathan Taylor's talent. I'm just sick and tired of it. Like, the whole narrative for the Colts, every single year, dude. Hey, this is a big year for the Colts. We're going to make the playoffs. Last year, to win the last 2 games of the season, all we had to do was win 1 game. And what we do? We gave it away. We blew it, dude. So, and I even said at the beginning of the season that the Colts will make the playoffs. I stand on that word, but, looking at the team now, it's just like, I don't know. I really don't know if the Colts can, even if they did make the playoffs, would they even make it competitive? You know what I'm saying? Would they make the wild card game competitive? No. They're just trash, dude. That's the reality. The Indianapolis Colts are garbage. It's crazy, but, obviously I'm going to root for my Colts. I'm going to go Colts, but I'm not going to bet on this game. I never bet on the Colts because when I bet on the Colts, they lose. And then when I bet against the Colts, they win. I'm not going to touch the Colts all season, dude, until they have a really legit quarterback and a really legit team and a legit head coach, because I think they need to release him, dude. Release Frank, man. Release it. Start from scratch, hit the reset button. Maybe Irsay could sell the organization to another billionaire and have him take over, because I think his heart is not in it, dude. He's not in this shit, man. I just think overall with what he's doing, Jim Irsay, it's completely insane to me, dude. It really is. But I'm not going to talk about Jim Irsay. We're here to talk about the Indianapolis Colts. So I'm going to go Colts. I'll take the 3 points. 39.5 is the over-under. I'll probably go with the over, but I would be surprised if the Colts do win, truly. At the bottom of my heart, I'd be very surprised if they win. But on the flip side, I can see Washington winning this game. But I'm going to go Colts even though Matt Ryan is benched. So take off Indianapolis Colts. Let's see what you can do. And then we got the Denver Broncos versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars are 2.5-point favorites. I think this game's in Germany, which is pretty crazy. It starts at 9 a.m. here on the East Coast. So I just think, who am I going to go with? I'm going to go with Jacksonville. I think Trevor Lawrence, young quarterback, 9 touchdowns, 4 picks this year. Christian Kirk, 4 touchdowns, 458 yards receiving. And I just think for Denver, man, their offense is terrible. Russell Wilson, 5 touchdowns, 3 picks this year. He looks like his heart's really not in it either. It looks like he lost all his passion, all the love for football. I'm looking at Russell Wilson and saying, dude, like, what is going on, dude? Like, you don't want to run anymore and scramble and do what Russell Wilson used to do. Create plays. From nothing, dude. That was Russell Wilson, a champion. And what I'm seeing from Russell right now, it's terrible, dude. It's like kind of watching the Indianapolis Colts play, dude. It's just like terrible to watch. It's terrible. Like but I'm going Jacksonville. I'm going Jacksonville in Germany. 40.5 is the over/under. I'll probably go with the over. Even though Denver's offense is trash, I think Jacksonville's going to score a lot of points. Hopefully Denver can score over 10 points. I would really bet on the under on that, though. But what they've shown me, Denver, it's just terrible, dude. It's insane, but I'm going to go Jacksonville. Let's go take off Jacksonville because of Trevor Lawrence. And then we got the Carolina Panthers versus Atlanta Falcons. Falcons are 4-point favorites. Marcus Mariota, 7 touchdowns, 4 picks this year. Drake London, 315 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. On the flip side, Carolina, McCaffrey's gone. Baker, 4 touchdowns, 4 picks. Baker, he's an average quarterback at best. That's just the reality of it. So I'm going to go Atlanta Falcons. At home, I'll take the 4. I just don't see the Panthers. Panthers are terrible, dude. I mean, they're 2-5 this year. It's hard to watch the Carolina Panthers. And it starts with Baker. I'm looking at Baker and saying, dude, Baker's been in the league for a minute now, right? I mean, 3 or 4 years? And it's like, what has he really done in the NFL yet? A lot of people will make excuses and say, well, he played for the he played for the Cleveland Browns. What do you expect, Cap? The Cleveland Browns suck. Well, hey, it's the NFL. This is the big league. This is Oklahoma anymore. This isn't, NCAA football. This is the big boy league. This is the NFL. You know what I'm saying? So you got to step it up. So for Baker, I'm looking at him and saying, this is the big boy league. You're not playing like a big boy, straight up. So I'm going to go Atlanta. I think Marcus Mariota is going to have a good game, 3 or 4 touchdowns. Atlanta all day. 41 is the over-under. Probably lean more towards the under, but I definitely go in Atlanta Falcons at home. And then we got the Chicago Bears versus the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are 10-point favorites. Now that to me, I think that's a little too much. I think Cowboys should have been favored by about 7 points. I think 10 is just I don't know. I think moneyline Dallas is definitely the for sure bet, but I'm going Dallas. But I just think Chicago, they play Dallas nice. So this could definitely be an upset alert game. I don't like the 10 points. I really don't. If it was 7 or 6.5, I would jump on it. But the 10-point spread to me after what Chicago did in the recent week, I'm looking at it saying, wow, But Dak back last week against the Detroit Lions, 270 yards passing and 1 touchdown. But really the defense is what matters for the Cowboys. Michael Parsons, those guys getting pressure on the quarterback and causing turnovers for Justin Fields. And I think that's what the Cowboys are going to do. I think Justin Fields, all the pressure's on him this game to perform great. Zeke is out. CeeDee Lamb, 479 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. I'm still going to go Dallas. I could see an upset, but for Justin Fields, 5 touchdowns, 6 picks this year, just a little inconsistent. I just think for the X factor here is to put pressure on Justin Fields, and I think Dallas has done that throughout this year a great time. So, in Dak's back in the lineup, I hope he's 100% with the sum because he's going to need to be 100% when the Cowboys do make the playoffs. They will. I just don't want to see the same story, okay? I don't want to see the Cowboys get in the playoffs and then play like shit and then lose a game like they did against the San Francisco 49ers. I don't want to see that. So I'm going to go Cowboys, money line. I think the 10's a little too much. 42.5 is the over-under. That's tough, but I definitely like Cowboys money line here. I think 10 is a little too much simply because the Chicago Bears play Cowboys typically nice. They really do. They match up well against them. They know each other. So I think I'm going Cowboys money line all day in this matchup. And then we got the Miami Dolphins versus the Detroit Lions. Look, Miami Tua's back. I'm going to go Miami at 3.5. Miami's 3.5-point favorites. I think Tua 9 touchdowns, 3 picks this year. Tyreek Hill 2 touchdowns, 773 yards receiving. These two are definitely a great duo, and I think they're going to be on the same page and take off. The only concern I have about Tua is, can he stay healthy? Can he take another big hit like that? Like you're eventually going to take a hit, but for Tua, health is definitely a concern for me. That's why I didn't pick him up on fantasy, because I'm just like, dude, I don't know. Like, can he stay healthy? The way he's been getting hit, it's just like, dude, he looks like a vegetable out there. He looks like a kid on the JV team, man, playing against D1 players. It's just like, dude, I don't want to see that. I want Tua to be healthy and to play. So I'm rooting for the Dolphins. I'm going to go Miami at 3.5. DeAndre Swift could be back, which is huge for the Detroit Lions. You need him back in your lineup, a great running back. Over 4 defenders are out for the Detroit Lions, so I'm going to go Miami even though they're on the road. I'll take Miami. 51.5 is the over-under. They're expecting this to be a big game. That's what they're telling me. That's what Vegas is telling me. So I probably lean more towards the over because they're saying this is going to be a crazy, high-paced game, which I could see it. So the over would not be a bad bet to bet on this game. To bet on the over, even though it's 51.5, which seems kind of high, but still, we're talking about the Detroit Lions here, okay? They've been giving up a lot of points. So I like Miami, and Tua can throw the ball deep, so him and Tyreek. So I'm going to go Miami at 3.5. And then we got the Arizona Cardinals versus the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings are 3.5-point favorites at home. Kirk Cousins, 9 touchdowns, 5 picks. Just your typical Kirk Cousins, right? He plays solid, plays good, but when you get him in the playoffs, it kind of shrinks up. I mean, what? Are we going to sit here and say, yeah, Minnesota's going to go to the Super Bowl this year? Well, please, prove me right, dude, because I don't see it. I don't see Kirk Cousins taking this team to the Super Bowl. They need a better quarterback. That's my opinion. Dalvin Cook, 450 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson, 654 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. One of the best receivers in the league, top 3 in my book. So it's like, Minnesota has all this talent, but yet, some of these games they're losing, which they should have won, okay? But, obviously Minnesota's favorite here, which they should win, but I'm still going to go Arizona with the upset here, and here's why. Because of Kyler Murray, 7 touchdowns and 4 picks, and he's got his boy back, DeAndre Hopkins, 10 receptions, 103 yards last week in his return. So I think he's due for a big game yet again. So Hopkins and Kyler Murray's got his boy back. That's why I'm going Arizona. This is going to be a barn burner. I think this is going to come down to the wire. Whoever has the ball last, the game-winning field goal, whatever the case is, this is going to be a huge game for both teams, especially for Arizona on the road. I'm going to Arizona with the upset here. 49 is the over-under. That's tough. I probably lean more towards the under, but I definitely like Arizona to close one with the upset. Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, the duo. Let's get it. And then we got the Las Vegas Raiders versus the New Orleans Saints. The Raiders are 1.5-point favorites. Right now, the Raiders are 2-4, and this is really a must-win game for the Raiders, which I do think they will win. You got Andy Dalton with the Saints. He's complete garbage. There are a lot of injuries on the Saints, so I'm definitely going Las Vegas at 1.5. Crazy things, any given Sunday, anything can happen. But, Derek Carr, 9 touchdowns, 4 picks. Josh Jacobs, 633 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns. He had a ball-out game last weekend, and I expect, the Raiders to get back on the same track, to run the ball a lot, utilize that play action, and throw the ball down the field to Davante Adams, which has over 500 yards passing and 5 touchdowns. He is questionable, though, but I want to see Davante Adams play this game. They need him. Every game right now for the Raiders is definitely a must-win game. You cannot continue to lose. You're 2-4 right now. You got to climb your way back. Step by step, baby steps. But I like the Raiders. It starts with Derek Carr in the offensive line. That's where it starts. And then Josh Jacobs, Davante Adams. I can't wait. But I'm definitely going Las Vegas Raiders over the New Orleans Saints. 49.5 is the over-under. That's tricky. I definitely would probably lean more towards the over because I think the Raiders are going to throw the ball out and run it and score a lot of points. Definitely in the first half, but I like the Raiders at 1.5. And then we got the New Orleans Patriots versus the New York Jets. Patriots are 2.5-point favorites here. They're the away team. But you know what? Typically, I would definitely 100% go New England Patriots. But, it's a different team right now. It's 2022, a different era. And it starts with Zach Wilson. He got the win last weekend against Denver, 121 yards passing. Yes, they do have Breece Hall, their star running back, out with the ACL injury, out for the whole year. But Garrett Wilson, 351 yards receiving, their number one receiver. And I think right now, Zach Wilson, he's got to have a big game. This is the game right here. You're playing against New England Patriots. You guys are 5-2 right now, the Jets. This is a huge game. And look at New England right now. They're trying to decide who should I play, Mac Jones or Zappe. Which one should it? We know Stevenson is a great running back, 4 touchdowns, 487 yards rushing. Just continues to play well. But that's the Patriots' MO, right? They play solid every game typically. But you know what? I'm going Jets at home because right now I do think New England Patriots are kind of on the back right now. They're like, man, Mac Jones, we thought he was going to be like, our savior, our next Tom Brady. Then they realized, oh shit, Mac Jones is really an average at best quarterback. Like, he's not going to be a starter in the league in the next 5 years, okay? That's what I'm saying to you. Like, straight up, like, Mac Jones is not that guy. He's always had great coaches around him, a great system, and he's just been, a really disciplined player. But, that's not going to win you a Super Bowl. So I think they got to go with Zappe. I do think we'll see Zappe in this game. But you know what? I'm going Jets at home because of Zach Wilson. I'm expecting to have a breakout game, and this is the game to do it. You guys are 5-2. Like, this is the game to say, hey, we're going to beat the Patriots in our home field, and we're going to go 6-2. Like, the New York Jets, what? That's crazy, but I'm going Jets all day here, the underdog. 40 is the over-under. I probably, honestly, lean towards the over. I think this is going to, Zach Wilson's going to throw the ball since Breece Hall's out and just go balls to the wall here. Nothing to lose, so I like the Jets with the upset over the New England Patriots. It's weird to say, right, the New York Jets beating the New England Patriots, but it's going to happen. Believe it. And then we got the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Philly 6-0, coming off a bye week. They're 11-point favorites. Look, I'm going to go Philly here. But I think the 11-point is just a lot, dude. That's disrespectful to the Pittsburgh Steelers, their defense, their secondary. But I just think Pittsburgh right now, Kenny Pickett, a slow start. Mitch Trubisky, he's trash. George Pickens, 338 yards receiving and a touchdown. I think they need to get him going as well for Pittsburgh. But, at the end of the day, Philly's the best team in the league by far right now. Jalen Hurts, 6 touchdowns, 2 picks. Miles Sanders, 485 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. A.J. Brown, over 500 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. So I'm definitely going Philly. If you guys want to do a safe bet, definitely go money line Philly, but I'm still going Philly here. Like, this is just a no-brainer to me. Now, if Philly were to lose, then we'd be like, damn, dude, Philly was a little bit overhyped, overrated, but I'm going Philly. I think they're legit. They're coming off a bye week. This is their week right here, so I'm going Philly over Pittsburgh. I do think this will be a little closer than what's expected. I think the 11 points is a little too much. I think it would have been more like 8 or 9. But, it is what it is. But I'm definitely going Philly. 43 is the over-under. Probably lean more towards the under, but I like Philly over Pittsburgh Steelers, a classic rivalry. And then we got the Tennessee Titans versus the Houston Texans. Titans are 2.5-point favorites. Ryan Tannehill, 6 touchdowns, 3 picks. But the X factor for Tennessee is Derrick Henry. 536 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns. He's on my fantasy squad. I think he's going to have a huge game this game. You're playing against the Houston Texans, which they're typically trash, okay? So I love the Titans. The away team, Titans at 2.5. I'll take that. I'll take Titans even at 3.5 or 4. Maybe even 6. That's how good I'm feeling about this game, about Tennessee coming into this game. Davis Mills, 7 touchdowns, 5 picks. Damian Pierce, over 500 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. I think that's what Houston's got to do. They got to run the ball here. They can't become one-dimensional and just throw the ball down the field with Davis Mills because that's not going to work out. It's not going to work out, but I think Tennessee, they win this game because of the ground and utilize that play action with Ryan Tannehill. But I love Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, pound for pound, the best running back in the league. On my fantasy squad, shout out to Derrick Henry. He's going to have a huge game. I want to see him have 3 touchdowns this game, over 100 yards rushing. Let's go, Derrick Henry. Take off. 40.5 is the over-under. I probably lean more towards the under, but I like Tennessee Titans over the Houston Texans all day. I'll take the 2.5. Go Titans. And then we got the San Francisco 49ers versus the L.A. Rams, Los Angeles Rams. Look, the defending Super Bowl champions, they did beat the 49ers in that game in the playoffs, which was crazy. And really, if we look deep into it, Matt Stafford really threw a pick in the DB for San Francisco, dropped it, and that could have been a game changer. But, everything happens for a reason. The Rams won the Super Bowl. That's that. This is the new year. But the sad news for the San Francisco 49ers is Debo is out, dude. This is terrible news. Debo's on my fantasy squad. This one hurts, man. Debo is out. I'm so sick about it. But look, you got McCaffrey. He had 8 carries last week for 38 yards. I think McCaffrey's going to get a lot more touches now that Debo's out in week 8. And then we got San Francisco bye week next week in week 9. So it gives them some time to rest. But, I just hate that Debo's out. Even though San Francisco's 1.5-point favorites. Jimmy G, 9 touchdowns, 4 picks. To me, it's tough. It's tough to pick San Francisco, the away team right now, with Debo out. And Matt Stafford, 6 touchdowns, 8 picks. Cooper Kupp, over 600 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns. We know Cooper Kupp's going to ball out. The thing is, San Francisco, they need to make Matthew Stafford beat them. Not Cooper Kupp, because we know Cooper Kupp, what he can do, okay? The best receiver in the league, hands down. I just think, the Rams right now, what they got going, they look trash. They really do, but it's hard to bet against the Rams at home, the defending Super Bowl champion. So I'm going to go Rams, even though they got 49ers at 1.5. Now, if Debo was in the lineup, I would 100% go San Francisco. I really would. But I do think McCaffrey's going to try to replace that for now. But it's just Debo being out, that's a key piece. Debo, McCaffrey, those guys, you need them. So I think that's a huge loss. So I'm going to go Rams. 42.5 is the over-under. That one's tough. I probably lean more towards the under because San Francisco's defense is legit. And my thing is the Rams are inconsistent on defense. One week they're great, and then the next week they're not. The next week they're giving up big bombs, and then the next week they're having picks. So it's just a mix, but I'm going to go Rams at home, even though it doesn't look good for the Rams, but I like the Rams at home all day in this matchup. And then we got the New York Giants versus the Seattle Seahawks. Giants are 6-1, which a low-key 6-1, right? Like the New York Giants, with Daniel Jones, 6 touchdowns, 2 picks. But the X factor for the Giants is Saquon Barkley by far. 726 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. Saquon is taken off, dude. Top 3 back in the league. Him, Jonathan Taylor, and Derrick Henry. No doubt about it. Man, Saquon is just going off, so which makes sense. But Geno Smith, 11 touchdowns, 3 picks. Kenneth Walker, 410 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns on my fantasy squad. Tyler Lockett, 468 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. And honestly, man, Seattle's playing good. They are playing lights out right now, but the way the Giants have played, and I've been betting against the Giants recently and been getting backfired hard. So you know what? I'm going to go Giants. I'm going to go Giants, even though they're underdogs right now in Seattle, which is tough to win in Seattle. But I'm going to go Giants. I think Giants' defense is legit. The Giants are really nice right now. I never thought I would say that. At the beginning of the season, I was like, man, the Giants will probably be like 3-3 by now or under 500. But no, they're 6-1, dude. It starts with Saquon Barkley in that offensive line. So I like the Giants in a close one, though. In Seattle, it's tough. And Geno Smith is playing lights out, dude. 11 touchdowns, only 3 picks this year. Dude, we gotta give respect to Geno, dude. A lot of people just kind of under the rug, but dude, Geno's been balling. So give him some homage. So I like the New York Giants though in a close one. 44.5 is the over under. Probably lean more towards the over, but I like the Giants over Seattle in a close one. And then we got the Green Bay Packers versus the Buffalo Bills. Look, Green Bay right now, they're not going to win the Super Bowl this year. I mean, just watching them play right now, what Aaron Rodgers is going through, the body language and everything. He's on my fantasy squad, which I'm kind of upset. I want to trade Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is like the KD of the NFL. A great player, but really the team around him is not that good. And just a lot of bullshit, really. Rodgers, 11 touchdowns, 3 picks. Alan Lazard, he is out for Green Bay. I'm definitely going Buffalo at home. I'm going Buffalo. Josh Allen, front runner for MVP, 17 touchdowns, 4 picks, 2 rushing touchdowns. His favorite target, Stephon Diggs, 656 yards receiving and 6 touchdowns. I think it's all Buffalo here. Now, on the flip side, we could see Aaron Rodgers ball out and have a great game, but I just haven't seen it yet. Even in fantasy, dude, he's not been putting up great numbers as much as I expected, dude. I'm expecting Aaron Rodgers to put up 3 touchdowns at least every single game. That's how good Aaron Rodgers is. That's how talented Aaron Rodgers is, but he's not doing it. I don't know what is going on. I don't know if it's the Green Bay Packer organization, but something has to go. I don't know what it is, but right now, Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, they look like they're going to miss the playoffs this year. It's terrible, dude. It is just sad. It really is because Aaron Rodgers is so gifted, dude. Yeah, it's coming up short every year. What's the excuse for Green Bay this year? Please, please, I just want to hear it. But I'm going Buffalo at home. This would be a huge upset if Green Bay does win, which they can't possibly because of Aaron Rodgers. I haven't seen it though. They're just like out of sync. It looks bad. 47 is the over under. Probably go with the over, but I like Buffalo, man. Buffalo, I think they are legit. There's a reason that the Buffalo Bills were favored to win the Super Bowl before week 1. Okay, and it starts with Josh Allen. Everything's on Josh Allen. He's legit. So I'm going to go Buffalo Bills over Green Bay Packers. And then we got the Monday Night Football game, Cincinnati Bengals versus the Cleveland Browns. I like Cincy, man. I really do. Cincy's 3-point favorites. Even though Jamar Chase is out for about 6 weeks, look, I understand that. But at the end of the day, Joe Burrow's going to find a way. And it starts with Joe Burrow. 15 touchdowns, 5 picks. Joe Mixon, over 400 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Look, for the Browns, yes, the X factor for the Browns is definitely the run game in Nick Chubb. 740 yards rushing and 8 touchdowns. Amari Cooper, over 400 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns. Jacoby, not bad, 6 touchdowns, 5 picks. They play nice, but I think for Cincinnati Bengals to win this game is to stop Nick Chubb. Make Jacoby beat you. Stop Nick Chubb, and you're going to win the game. And I think Joe Burrow's going to have a big game on Monday Night Football. And it's like we've kind of forgot about the Bengals a little bit. They started off really slow, but right now they're getting ready to take off. And it starts with Joe B. So I think Joe Burrow's going to have a breakout game. So I'd like Cincinnati over the Browns. 45 is the over-under. That one's tough, but I like Cincinnati, man. I do. I think Cincinnati's going to get on a heater right now and go into the playoffs hot, dude. And we could even see Cincinnati run deep into the Super Bowl. I know it sounds crazy to say that, but Joe Burrow is legit, man. We got to believe in Joe Burrow, and I do. So I like Cincinnati over the Cleveland Trash Browns. So what a week, though. What a week 8 for the NFL. A lot of crazy games. But, a lot of upset alert games as well, like the Arizona Cardinals, which I could be way off. And I like the Jets over the New England Patriots. That's probably my main upset is the Jets over the Patriots. I can't wait for that. But my Indianapolis Colts, man, it's do or die right now. If you guys lose to the Washington Commanders, it's over for the Indianapolis Colts. Please, Colts, win. Take off Jonathan Taylor. Let's go. It's the Cloud with Cab Show. Woo!